Hi everyone, it's Chris here again from the We Will Rock You project, and in today's lesson we're going to get a bit arts and crafty and we're going to learn how we can make our own shakers, okay? Now, a shaker is part of the percussion family. It kind of makes a sound like, and the clue is in the name, you shake it, yeah? So it's an item of percussion that we shake in time with the music, or with our bands, or with our, with our friends when we're making music, and it adds a sense of rhythm to the sound, to the song. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to tell us what we need to be able to make these, and it's really easy, and this is something everyone can do whilst at home. And if you are doing this, please, once you've done it, take a picture of it, send it in to show your music teacher at school, okay? Show your class teachers as well, because I'm sure they'd love to see it. Even a little video of you shaking the shakers once we've made them would be awesome as well. So, what do we need for this? We need an empty toilet roll, okay? So, we've all probably got toilet roll in the house. You might have one of these in your blue bin outside. You might be very nearly finished a roll of toilet roll in the bathroom. If so, you can wait a few days if you need to, and then until you've got hold of one of these. Maybe just watch this video now so you know what to do, and then you can re-watch it in a couple of days when you get hold of one of these to then have a go yourself. So I've got two different sizes here. We only need one. Obviously this is bigger, so the tone of this one will sound slightly different to the smaller one, but you only need one or the other. So this is from kitchen roll, this is from toilet roll, so it's anything similar to something like this. If you don't have a toilet roll or a kitchen roll tube, you could always use a coffee tin, maybe like a tub that you put that the coffee was in the kitchen, or you could maybe use an empty box of that you might have had some chocolate that came in over Christmas time. So we can adapt, and it's always good to try these different ones anyway. So today I'm going to just use this small one, okay? So what else do we need? We've got our toilet roll or our cylinder tube, okay? We need a couple of elastic bands, okay? Again, these are things that you probably just got lying around the house somewhere. So we need two of these, and we just need a sheet of paper. But paper works well because it's got lots of movement, and a pair of scissors, okay? If you are doing this, please make sure with the scissors you get an adult to help you with that, unless you've got safety scissors at home like we use in school, okay? So if you are using the scissors, like I say, please get your parents to do the cutting out, unless they are safety scissors. And then the last key ingredient to make this this shaker, this percussion instrument, is some rice, okay? Now again, if you've not got any rice, don't worry about it. We're only going to use a little bit, so don't worry, we're not going to waste all the rice. But don't worry if you've not got any rice. We could maybe use something like some pasta, possibly some cereal, like some Rice Krispies or your Cheerios. Obviously the heavier the item of what we're going to put in this will make the sound deeper and heavier, okay? So we can just experiment. I'm going to use rice. If you've got rice is something a lot of people tend to just have in, so we can use a little bit of rice. So we've got our toilet roll, we've got our elastic bands, we've got our paper, and we've got some rice, okay? So how do we do this? First things first, we get our paper and we get our cylinder, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to need to cut a little bit of paper from here so that we can put it on the end of here, okay? So it doesn't have to be too big. Don't worry about it being, it's better rather have it too big than too small, because if it's too small we can't tie the elastic band around and we have to cut some more, okay? So I'm going to use my scissors. Like I say, at this point, please do get a parent to cut this out for you, or use safety scissors if you've got safety scissors like the ones you use in school, okay? The ones that aren't very sharp, okay? And be very careful. And I'm just going to cut myself a square out of this piece of paper, okay? So I've just cut a square off there, so yeah, okay? Now what we can always do as well, if you want to make these look really cool, is we can cool them in as well. you know, we can take it, once we've made it, you can take it apart, you can colour all the bits in, and then you can put it back together again, and we see you've got a really nice colourful shaker. So all I'm going to do, I've got this square of paper that I've just cut, and I'm just going to put this on the end of my cylinder, okay? And then I'm going to fold it over like that, okay? But now obviously if I pour something in this, that's just going to fall off, yeah? So this is where the elastic band comes into play, okay? So I'm going to put the paper on again around the end to create a stop so that nothing can get through. See that? And what I'm going to do is take one of my elastic bands and I'm going to put it round nice and tight. So I'm going to do a good few layers of this. Obviously, depends what size elastic band you've got in the house. If you've got a really small one, you might be able to just fit that round once. If it's a bigger elastic band, just keep going round and round until it's nice and tight, and then that holds that in place, okay? So now, I'm going to sit this down on the paper and down there, okay? So now I've got my hole at the top. Now before we cut another piece of paper and put that on top, we need to put something in here, because otherwise, it's not a very good shaker, is it, when you can't really hear it shaking? Yeah? So we need to put our rice in here. Now not too much, because if we put too much rice in, there's not much room within the shaker. So when we're shaking it, you're not getting much movement from the rice, so you're not getting much sound, okay? So we want to just put a little bit in, and we can then try it and experiment and think, ooh, needs more rice, okay? A bit like when we're in the kitchen cooking, okay? Now what I'm going to do here is try and do this without making as much mess as possible. So I'm going to pour my rice in here. And already when I give it a little shake, I can hear that, okay? So I've just estimated there how much rice to put in. I've still got some rice on the side, so that can go in as well. Waste not, want not. Okay, so I've got my rice in my tube, and I've got my end on. Now, obviously, if you go to start shaking this now, guess what's going to happen? It'll be like a volcano of rice coming out of your shaker. So we don't want that. I don't want anyone's parents telling me off, saying that I helped make a mess in their house and threw rice everywhere. So what I'm doing now is getting my scissors again. Please get a parent to do this for you, unless you've got safety scissors that you're allowed to use. And I'm just cutting another square of piece of paper out. And then this is going to sit on top. And then I'm going to close the gap again. And then I'm going to get my second elastic band. And here's a hint, just put your hand through it like this so you can open it out and on. And then I'm going to loop it round. I'm going to loop it round 3 times, because the last thing I want to do is be shaking this shaker and rice going everywhere, okay? So that's nice and tight now. Nothing's coming out there, okay? No rice. No rice, okay. And there is my shaker. So, and it actually sounds really good. So we've got a small little shaker here, okay? And like I said earlier, it doesn't look the best, does it? It doesn't look great. So what I would then do is, once you've made it, you could then take maybe the top part off. So you could take your elastic bands off, open this piece of paper out, and colour it in. Draw some nice pictures on there maybe. Colour it all in, both sides, yeah? Or at least the side that's on this outside. And then you can put that side back on. And once you've done that side, you could flip it over and take off this side and then colour in this bit as well. And then you could draw what you want on the tube once you've got both sides back on. And that way you can make a really cool, unique shaker, okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make another one, okay? I'm going to make one with the big one, so that we've got 2, and then we can see the differences between the 2, okay? And we can do some quick rhythmic exercises with our shakers. So, anyone that was falling behind on this one, don't worry, I'm going to do it all again right now with a bigger one. Same rules apply, exactly the same thing, but because it's bigger, I'll probably need to just put a little bit more rice in, okay, because it's a bigger space. So, I've got my tube, I've got the paper, and I need 2 squares. And I know I've said this twice already, but please get an adult to use the scissors for you, if they're very sharp, okay? So I've got my 2 squares, I've got 2 more elastic bands, and I've got my tube. Hello. So, I'm going to put this top one on here first. I'm going to put my paper on. And obviously, because this is a bigger tube, you have to just make sure you cut the paper big enough so it actually fits around with no gaps, okay? And there's my elastic band. And I've only had to put 2 loops of the elastic band on this because it's a bigger tube, so it's a lot tighter anyway, okay? And then I'm going to turn it round, and before I do this side, I'm going to pour some rice in, okay? And again, if you are making more than one, experiment. Maybe you could put some beans, some dry beans in one of them, or some cereal or some pasta, and then by experiment with the different densities. So by that I mean like the different weights of the different items of food that we're putting in. Make sure it's got to be dried food though, because you need it to be able to withstand the shaking, okay? It can make different sounds, and we're going to experience that, and we will do some more of these videos, maybe where we use things like coffee tins, okay? This is quite a big coffee tin, but we can use coffee tins and dried beans, dried peas, and we can get some really cool sounds out of them. So I'm just going to pour some rice in here. I'm trying my best not to spill any. A little bit more. If you've got a funnel, if anyone has got a funnel, that would be the best thing to use, because you put your funnel in the top, then you can pour your rice in, and then you can guarantee you're not going to make any mess. But don't worry, I've got a tablecloth down, so I can just tidy that up at the end, okay? So I've got my rice in here now, and I'm going to put my lid on, which is this piece of paper. I'm putting on my elastic band now. And there we have it. So we've got our bigger shaker. So I've now made 2 shakers in the space of 13 minutes. It's took me to make 2 percussive instruments, okay? Which is awesome, and this is something we can all be doing. So let's have a look at the small one. Now what I'm going to do is, we're not just going to shake it any old how, okay? We're going to try and learn a technique here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put it on its side, okay? And from the side on, you can see this. I'm just going to hold it with my fingers at the back and my thumb in front, okay? And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put my left hand out in front of me, and I'm going to push the shaker forward to my fingertips. And then I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to push forward to my palm. Okay? And I'm going to go fingertips, palm, fingertips, palm, fingertips, palm. We're getting into a nice rhythm. And that was a nice simple rhythm of just fingertips, palm, fingertips, palm. Now we will be covering these types of rhythms in a lesson in its own right, shaker rhythmic lessons, as well as our drum lessons and stuff. But this is just a quick introduction to show you what we can do with our shakers. So why do we put our hand there? Because when we're in a band, or when we're in an ensemble, and we're playing together as a group, if you're going like this, and you let go by mistake, you end up flinging someone in the face with your shaker, okay? And last thing we want to be doing is taking someone's eye out with a little bit of rice, okay? So let's try the bigger one now. Same rules apply. I'm going to put my hand in front. I've got my fingertips here, and I've got my thumb here. And I'm going fingertips, palm. High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And you can speed up. And you can slow down. And you can hear that rice in there. So have a listen to this bigger one. And the smaller one. Now as you can hear, the smaller one has a more high-pitched tone. The bigger one has a more low tone, okay? The bigger the instrument, the lower the tone, okay? So if you watched our drum video where the other Chris hit what we call the bass drum that was on the floor, makes a really low, deep sound. And then as you work your way up the toms, the smallest tom, boom, 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 a lot higher pitched, okay? Just like this, our smaller shaker sounds a lot higher than our lower shaker. So what I want you to do is have a go at making a shaker. You only have to make one, whether it be with a small toilet roll, or it can be slightly bigger with a kitchen roll, or you can use a coffee tub. This is a bigger one, but you can use a small coffee tub if you like, empty coffee tub, and we can stick some rice in there, or pasta, or dried peas, or dried peas, or pulses, lentils, and then have a go at colouring or painting as well your shaker to make it really cool looking, okay? And what I want you to do is send your teacher in some pictures of your shakers, okay? The ones that you've made, so we can see how I'd love to see how yours sound, okay, and how they look. So, happy shaking, you shaker makers, and we'll see you in the next lesson, okay? Laters!